It's the Friday Cocktail, presented by Anna Glowinski.
Well, she once said, you were born alone and you die alone. So that's a thought that sort of helped shape her latest creative journey. Legendary, trailblazing musician Suzi Quatro is with me right now on the screen, and we're going to hear her voice in a second. Super excited. But she's not with a bass or a microphone. She's actually here with a novel in hand. And it's bold, thoughtful, obviously. And I'm so delighted to welcome you onto It's a Friday Cocktail, Suzi, and to talk about Grave Undertakings. How are you today?
I'm fine. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm enjoying talking about this book.
I feel like you've got the white and blue on-brand memo for Talk Radio Europe today. We look like we're set up for the right studios.
Yeah, I'm actually at our Hamburg home at the moment, so I'm in my little room that I do my work in. So
is this actually where you wrote your book as well? Are we in the place of your?
No. I have been writing that book since I've been born.
Okay, all the places. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, do you know what? I'm going to pick into about how you actually put those thoughts and those experiences onto paper in a bit. But let's just do a little bit of background first. You know, leather-clad trailblazer. Not today, though. But you're very much known for the jumpsuits, your rock image, and of course your music and your trailblazing for women in rock. Is that image still how you would describe yourself today if you were to introduce yourself, or would you say you're sort of reinvented?
I'm very wide, if I can say that. I'm an artiste. So I've always been the kind to do everything that I can do in this profession as far as creating, communicating, and entertaining. I will do it. So okay. Yes, that still describes me. I still go on stage. I do my 2-hour show. The second half is in the jumpsuit. I still play my bass guitar. I still do my hits. I'm still releasing material. This book is now my 7th book. I've done kind of everything because I'm that kind of artist that I never want to stop.
Well, that was going to be another question about never wanting to stop and, you know, that rock and roll lifestyle. You're obviously still living it. Is there a part of you that can look back at your career, you know, a career that started very, very early on, just 14 years of age, and think that it sounds like there's definitely some consistencies there in how creative you are as a person? But how much have you changed as well? How much would you look back at that sort of girl version of yourself and think, well, this is who I am today? And I don't know, advice you would give her or connections that you would make with her now?
I've sort of always been the same kind of girl.
Wow.
I was a curious child. I wanted to know the answers to everything. I wanted to know the answers to everybody. I found out that I could hold an audience at about the age of 7 during a family show. And when I got up to do my bit, the whole room stopped. So that kind of gave me my clue for my future. I've always needed to have my voice heard. When you come from a family of 5, you need to find your voice first, find your voice, yours, mm-hmm. and then you have to be heard.
And how, you know, what is the role of your family in supporting that sort of blast into fame that you had? Did you remain connected with them? Did they help keep you grounded as a person? Supportive?
My mom kept me very grounded. She was a very strict Catholic and brought me up that way. And she saw me, I could never fool her, never. All of us were in show business together. So I was the one, except for my brother, who was a child star on piano on TV. I'm the one that made it. So it went through the thing where it was difficult at first for everybody. And then we talked it through 8 million times and now we're all fine. But it's difficult when one person in a family who was all show business gets picked out and makes it. That's difficult for everybody, including me.
Yeah.
Because it had the effect on me that I left everybody to go solo because I was offered 2 solo contracts within 1 week. And that is the universe telling you it's time to go.
Yeah.
But then I didn't enjoy it for a long time because I felt guilty. So anyway, but this is all psychology stuff. I explore all this in the book. I mean, the person in the book isn't famous. There's 6 people in the book, 7 actually. But I'm very psychologically minded. I always have been. I need to know what makes you tick. And if you sit in a room with me and we're having dinner or we're at the bar, I'm going to dig into you.
Yeah, I can do a little bit of that as well. We'll be like arguing for space. But, and is that how you've expressed yourself through music as well? Or is music very much been about sort of you and your own expression? Or has it been about trying to get to, underneath the skin of an audience or a person or a story that you're trying to tell?
Well, when you're writing, that's certainly, I can't write songs. I can't write fiction. I have to find a way to make it real for me. So I have to put myself into that part. I have been called the Trailblazer 8 million times, and to be honest, I didn't know I was until I didn't know anything I did was unusual because I come from a showbiz family. Mm-hmm. And when I told my dad we're starting a band, do you have a bass? He didn't go, what? He went, here you go. So I didn't know it was anything different until I watched my documentary in 2019 at the Regent's Theatre in London, Suzi Quatro. And then I saw all these famous women coming out saying, all of them said, we wouldn't do this if it hadn't been for Suzi. At that point, the age of 69, I'm now going to be 75 in June, I realized what I had done. It finally dawned on me. But that's a good thing, because that means it wasn't manufactured.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know I was doing it. And that's the way I kind of am with everything. I don't manufacture stuff. What you see is what you get. Here I am.
And so you're not manufacturing it, but have you always been comfortable being in that role as well? Because actually you've taken a massive leap. You're saying you don't write fiction, but you've just written a novel. Is there something inside of you that feels like you always deserve a seat at the table? I can give this a go. I can try this. And I'm willing to put myself out there. Do you never have that sort of question in yourself that, should I? Could I? Can't I?
No, I'm never a should I kind of person. I'm more of a I will kind of person. I wanted to write a book about this. I was collecting, we're talking about grave undertakings now. We just jumped to that because you asked that question. I was collecting tombstone inscriptions for 35 years just because I was interested. What would you put on yours? What would you put on yours? Lots of famous people. And as I went to assemble the book, it was just going to be grave undertakings, tombstone collection.
Okay.
And a lot of famous people. Then all of a sudden, being the creative person I am, all of a sudden I went, wait a minute, this is a book. This has got to explore at least 6 or 7 people and see what their lives did to them, where it took them, and when eventually where it did take them, how they would want to be remembered. So I dug in. I did some research. I looked at different psychiatrists, but I'm a very psychological person myself. So it has surprised a lot of people, this book.
Yeah.
It's not what people expect.
In what sense?
I had one guy who just did a big hour-long interview with me yesterday on the camera, and he wrote to me 2 weeks ago. And he said, I know I'm interviewing you soon, but I had to write. He said, I did not expect your book. It knocked me sideways. Where did you get your psychological training from? This should be required reading for every human and every psychology student. I went, are you kidding me? Wow. No, really, what a compliment. I was really knocked sideways by that. And other people that have read it, everybody's kind of doing the same thing. They want to know where I got my knowledge from.
And where did you? Obviously, it's one thing collecting gravestone inscriptions, but where did you get that psychological gravitas, weight behind what you're actually saying?
I didn't graduate high school, but I am an avid reader. I don't read books, I eat books. And I read everything. I've always got a book in my hand from every kind of subject. And I'm I guess this is where I get it from. I'm a communicator. You can see it just how I'm talking to you. I'm a communicator. And I love knowing what makes people tick. I do. I've always been curious about it. So where's this coming from? Where's this coming from? And I love to sit down with a stranger, read them, and get it completely right within 5 minutes. They get so annoyed. I am a good people reader. I think that comes from having to go onto a stage and immediately size up an audience.
Mm.
I think and like doing an interview. Now I've got to make you comfortable immediately. I've got to let you know me. So it's all about communicating. And I am a Gemini, and Gemini is the sign of the communicator.
Okay, I don't know anything about the astrology stars, but guess mine. Would you be able to guess? Are you good at that sort of thing?
I am, but I haven't talked to you for long enough yet. I would guess Virgo, but I'm not sure.
No, I'm not Virgo. Do you know what? No, I do know what I am. I had to think twice if I actually knew what I was.
What are you? What are you?
Capricorn.
So you're an earth sign. So I got that part right.
Okay.
So then, okay. You are the kind who, okay, if you get angry with somebody
Mm-hmm.
and you tell them off, okay?
Yes.
They stay told off. You're very good at it. You choose your words really well. They will feel told off for a long time. Not that you're mean. Yeah, I know you're laughing because you know it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, if you're on a mountain, the nice thing about Capricorn is you will move out of the way for somebody to pass. You're good at that.
Yeah, I will hold a door open for somebody, that's true. But I can be pretty harsh in my whiplashing as well, my tongue lashing. You
can be. I had a good friend, good friend. She was actually Mickey Mouse's wife. She's passed away. She was my best friend ever. And she told me off when we went for dinner one day. And I said to her, boy, when you tell people off, they stay told off. She went, yes, I'm a hard taskmaster. I said, you are. Boy, you choose your words well. So, sorry doesn't even help because say sorry. They don't care. You don't care.
You need to hear what I've got to say about it first. Well, I've just got a bit of an understanding of how curious you are about people, about the world around you. But then how do you translate that into the sort of academic process of writing a book? Did you get any technical help with it? Your first time of writing a novel, making the story arc, developing those characters? It's quite a specific thing to be able to do.
It is. And that people have asked me that as well. I've always been a writer. Okay. This is my 7th book. I've got 2 poetry books out. I've always been the kind to either paint or put word to paper or write a song. I've always been a writer. All I had to do was figure out, and I just did this naturally, where I wanted the story to go, how I wanted to get there. I made little notes first before I began. Okay, let's map this little story out. And I knew what kind of characters I wanted them to be. I know which areas I wanted to take them to. And then I had to find the characters. And then once you find your characters and you give them a name and basically, because there's 10 lessons in this book, 10 psychology lessons.
Right.
So I kind of went, okay, I gave each one a theme. What did I want to find? And then the characters, once you develop them, they start to surprise you because they take on a life of their own.
So they take you with them.
They do. In fact, when I read the physical book back, when my publisher sent it to me, it's so funny. She sent me the book and she said, okay, can you approve it? Have a look and approve it. So I thought, right, I'm going to sit down and read this as a reader. So I read it from cover to cover. I can't tell you how many times I stopped and I went, huh? Who wrote that? You forget. You go into such a creative space that you're not aware of what you're writing.
I was not expecting that answer. Wow.
It takes you. In the same way, I'm sure other creative people would tell you this. You can write a song, stick it on the tape recorder so you have it down and you don't forget it. Play it back the next day and you go, what? So it's basically being lost in the creation. And then if you do get a hard spot, you've got your notes and you go back to that, like, for instance, when I wrote Unzipped, my autobiography in 2006, I kept putting it down and starting to put it down. I thought, what's stopping me here? Because it was my life, so I knew my life. And I went, okay, I'm Gemini. So I'm going to be little Suzi from Detroit and Suzi Quatro. And they're both going to have equal amounts to say. And the book flew.
Wow.
So same thing with this novel. Once I got the characters named and established, then they kind of wrote themselves. Then I kind of knew where each one was going.
That's fascinating. And you say that there's these themes in the book, or these things that they're exploring. Mortality, I believe. Obviously, it's grave undertakings, legacy, connections with people. What other messages and what else do you like to get through in this book?
How I found a recurring theme as I was writing each character, and it's within the lessons that the professor is doing, that everything about you, every good quality, every bad quality that you have is all triggers from childhood. And if you think about it, you know it's true. You know, and when you go through the book, you'll find that, you know, that's one of the lessons. Okay, what's your triggers? So they all tell the triggers. And then, okay, how do you react differently to your triggers? Because you can't stop your triggers. See how psychological I am? You can't stop your triggers, but you can, by understanding them and where they come from, you can stop your reaction to them.
Right.
So you can learn about yourself, you know, and triggers aren't a bad thing unless they hurt you. And then you've got to find a way to work with them.
And so looking back over your childhood, looking backwards, looking over your past, what about looking forwards to, I don't know, trying to become a different person based on how you might react to your triggers, death, legacy that you leave behind? I believe that these are topics that you don't shy away from either.
Absolutely not. And my aim now is to do everything I want to do. Don't quite reach the goal, because once you reach the goal, there's the danger of there's nothing else to do. I don't want to get there. I'm trying to be as good a person as I could be. That's not always easy, because I'm no angel. None of us are, you know. And every time I get mad at somebody, I will take a step back and look at that anger. It's very important. Let's say you go to somebody. Okay, step back, look at it, take your part in it, understand why you reacted to whatever they did, because it's always two sides. And then if it's your fault, hand up, guilty as charged.
Yeah.
Lessons in life. We can all try to be better people. And especially in this world we live in now, you know, it's not easy. It's not easy out there.
Is that at contrast with being a badass?
No. I tell you what, God made me exactly as I am. I do believe I was put on this earth to do those three things: to create, to entertain, and communicate. I believe in my heart and soul since a very young child. That's why I'm here. So I guess that's why I'm writing the books, why I do the poetry, why I write the songs, why I do the talking. I love to touch people.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. You really are a great communicator. It's been, and I don't want to sound too sycophantic, but genuinely, it's been an honor to speak to you. I've been really looking forward to this and loved every minute of it. And I'm sure the listeners have as well. So just in, you know, doing the practical stuff then, the book, what's it called? What do you hope readers take away from it? And where can they get their hands on it?
Okay. You can buy it anywhere that you buy books. It's called Grave Undertakings. It is a psychological walk through 6 students who meet at a psychology course in college, and everything that their lives do. And there's a lot of twists and turns. Some you do not see coming. And at the end, it ends with, I think there's about 200 quotes from famous people that I've been collecting for 35 years of what they want on their tombstone. And I will tell you mine because it's hilarious. I'm a Gemini. So because it's the twins, I get 2. And it's my book, so I get one on either side of the tombstone. One side says, "Now I get it." And the other side says, "Too many dreams, too little time."
Wow. Fantastic. I'll tell you what, I just don't want a tombstone. I can't even deal with the thought of that's ever going to happen. I'll just be looking backwards because I'm not preparing for that.
No, this should be yours then. No.
I'm not ready for this.
No, not ready yet. No. Can you come back another day? Or you could say, can you come back?
Yeah, cut out. ... Suzi, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.